everybody. My name is Hollister, and I'm here to talk with you today about my book, Everything You Wanted to Know About the Afterlife But Were Afraid to Ask. Now, I know it looks backwards on your screen. That's all right. Beyond Words will certainly send you in the right direction. So it's called Everything You Wanted to Know About the Afterlife But Were Afraid to Ask. And interestingly enough, the book was published in early May. And of course, we're in the midst of a pandemic, and so many people are suffering with the loss of loved ones, not only before the pandemic, but now. And this thought or concern that maybe they can't say goodbye, or, there's an issue that their loved one is dying alone. Well, I just want you to know that a lot of the questions about death, dying, the afterlife, connection with spirit are answered in this book. Hey, I'm seeing people sign on. River Song, yay! It's so good to see everybody here. Thank you so much for joining us. So the book, Everything You Wanted to Know About the Afterlife, is divided into chapters. And chapter 1, the basics, includes questions like, is there really an afterlife? That's the first question in the book. And maybe that really is a good place to start. Really kind of coming to terms with, what do I believe about the afterlife? Do I believe what I might have been taught? Do I believe what I've grown up with? If there is an afterlife, what is the nature of it? And so, because I've been speaking to the spirits for 25 plus years, I've gotten a lot of information, not only about what the afterlife is like, but also, is there really an afterlife? And of course, I answer the question at length. But what I have to say, in the book I answer it at length. But what I have to say was, I was surprised that someone asked me that question. Because I thought, for the most part, people coming to see me, or coming to an event, or showing up, hello, another wave. I'm waving. I'm going to be waving like mad to everybody who signs on. But coming to terms with, is there really an afterlife? I thought anyone who was in my sphere would have come to terms with that question. But at an event, I pulled the question out of a basket, because that's what I've been doing, is asking people to write down their questions during events, and then I pull the questions out of a hat, because I find that the most interesting questions are those that people don't want to ask in front of a group, including, is there really an afterlife? Like, who wants to ask that in the middle of a metaphysical convention where you think everybody else does believe in an afterlife? Well, what I can tell you is, I will give you a little bit of a hint. What the spirits let me know is that they don't think of themselves as being in an afterlife. They think of themselves as alive. So there isn't an afterlife. There is only life, according to the spirits. So what is the nature of that life that they live? And how does that life intersect with ours? And what is the connection with mediums and spirits? And how can you get connected to your loved ones, your guides, and your angels? Well, the book answers all sorts of questions about those very things. So, the first chapter, is there really an afterlife? Do spirits tell you what the afterlife is like? Is there a difference between a ghost and a spirit? I get asked that all the time. What is the difference? Is there a difference? So I'm going to give you kind of the short form of that. I have a little chart in the book about the difference between a ghost and a spirit. So I'll sum it up for you. Make it really easy. Ghosts can be demanding. Spirits are respectful. Ghosts hang on to grievances and anger. Spirits take responsibility for their actions. Ghosts are resistant to change. Spirits are willing to share their own transformation and encourage healing in others. Ghosts are energized by fear. Spirits are powered by love. So that just sort of sums up the way I look at ghosts and spirits. And of course, the answer itself is, 6, 8 pages long. So I go into depth in this book. This isn't sort of a glossing over of subjects. It really deals with things in a heartfelt and in-depth but easily accessible way. I've sort of summed up 25 years of work in this little book. So included in the first chapter, so what's a medium anyway? Where I talk about the differences between mediums, channelers, psychics, and really sort of give an understanding of that. And what is mediumship for? What's the purpose? How can it be useful? And then moving on to other chapters on being a medium, what it's like being a medium, and questions I ask around that. The dying experience, and who doesn't want to know about that, especially when so many people are dying in such a challenging way right now. We can tell ourselves all sorts of things and have tremendous fear around contracting a virus, dying from the virus, living with a virus, infecting people we love with a virus. There's all sorts of fear around dying right now. Well, this chapter, number 3, the dying experience, can really shed some light on questions like, do spirits visit those who are dying? So perhaps loved ones in spirit aren't dying alone. Well, wouldn't that be comforting? If I don't get to say goodbye, is it too late to do so? Can a spirit leave the body before a body actually dies? When multiple people die at the same time, do they share the dying experience? So these are all questions, and many more in that chapter, that get answered. Now, the other thing I really like about this book, I'm kind of glad I like the book, because after all, I wrote it. If I didn't like my own book, we'd be in trouble. But I'm thrilled with it because what I wanted it to be was this really kind of informal Q&A, like a conversational kind of thing. Like we were all sitting around at dinner, sort of sitting down and just, asking questions, having a conversation. And that's kind of what the book is like. The other thing I wanted it to be was an opportunity for someone to follow a train of thought, to follow a question to another question, almost like a Google search. That kind of, you ask a question and all sorts of answers and related subjects come up when you do a search. The book is like that. So at the end of an answer to a question, there will be indications as to, if you're interested in guides, you can go to this chapter, to this question, to this answer. So it can direct you around the book according to your answer. The other way you can read this book is straight through. What's nice is the chapters are short. The questions that are answered can be read in one sitting, and you don't have to worry about losing your place or losing a train of thought, because all of us are really, maybe a little scattered is the word right now. There's a lot going on. We have worries, anxieties, concerns. We're checking in with people. We're wondering about work. We're wondering about wellness. We're wondering about people we haven't been able to see for a while. So there are a lot of worries and anxieties. But this book can help put some of the big ones to rest. There are exercises in this book that can help you get in touch with your own loved ones so that you can have their guidance right now. The question, do spirits know about natural disasters? Are there first responders in spirit? Those questions are answered. How do we connect with our guides? There's a step-by-step process here. And before we end here today, I will lead us in a little meditation so that we can feel more connected to our loved ones. And this is certainly safe to do at home. Which reminds me, when I sent in the first draft of the book, people at Beyond Words were doing some of the exercises in the book, and I started getting this feedback. these exercises really work. I'm like, yeah, of course they work. Why would I put them in a book if they don't work? But then came the thought of, you know what? As people are reading the book, doing exercises to get connected with loved ones and guides, it would be also a wonderful idea to protect the entire book, to give this book a stamp of protection so that everybody who reads it is protected and it's being read in a protected and safe space. So what I did was I designed, I think you guys can see this, I designed a little protection symbol. And as you read the book, this symbol appears at beginnings and ends of chapters, in between questions. And what this is the heart surrounding all of us, spirit, you and me. This little line is the division between spirit and us, but you see how we're all connected here. And there are circles, the spirit surrounding us. We're the center circle, spirits surround us, and love, the frequency of love surrounding all. So as you read this book, you'll be reading it with the power of love with you. You will feel it as you read the book because that's how it was designed. Other chapters include afterlife relationships. Do spirits know how much we love and miss them? Does romantic love exist in the afterlife? Can spirits intervene on our behalf? And that's very important right now. We're wondering, can spirits help us maybe get a new job? Can spirits help mend family challenges or trouble? Can spirits help with a relative or a loved one who is suffering from addiction? So we deal with all of that in the book. And what is the difference between guides and angels, of course? And how can I meet my spirit guide? Chapter 6 includes everything to do with the language of spirits. Is there a veil that separates the living and the dead? Can spirits hear our thoughts? And then there's another whole chapter on the love of animals. Can spirits of pets, can they communicate through a medium? Well, I have to tell you, before I got on this live event, there was a Jack Russell Terrier in here leaping up and down, a Jack Russell Terrier in spirit, just up and down, up and down, up and down. There was also a miniature poodle and an apricot poodle. So I just want you to know, 2 poodles, a miniature one, a tiny one, and an apricot colored one. So I just want you to know those dogs might belong to somebody here on this call. Spirited Occasions, Chapter 8. Do spirits honor holiday traditions? Do holidays draw spirits close to us? Then the big questions of life. Do spirits tell you if there's a God? What does it mean to be spiritually connected? Do spirits agree what is good and what is bad? Are spirits aware of disasters, including ecological ones? We were talking about that. I also did the audio version of this book, and that was kind of trippy to be reading the words that I had written months and months before. And I came to a question: what is the difference between guides and angels? And I got to this line. I am seeing angels with ever-increasing and somewhat stunning frequency. This may be because there are serious threats to life on our planet. So when I got to reading that line, I had to stop. I was overcome by emotion. I was reading the book, recording it in April, and the pandemic had already started. And here in California, we were closed in our houses and things were shut down. And I hadn't remembered writing those words, but you see, that's the miracle of spirit. They knew what was going to be happening before we knew the specifics of it. And so I said to the producer, I have to stop. I can't read anymore right now. Can we come back to this tomorrow? And so I came back the next day and continued. However, these are also times of great connectivity with momentous opportunities for change and transformation, both personal and global. You see, the spirits that I connect with at the frequency of divine love provide hopeful and helpful messages. They are here. They are with us. They are loving us during this time. They are inspiring us to make a difference. And so, as we go forward each and every day, invite your loved ones. So why don't we take a moment here, right now? Just feel yourself in your chair, feet on the floor, hands in your lap, or wherever they're most comfortable. And take a couple of breaths, just comfortable, everyday breaths, nothing fancy, but paying attention to your breathing in and out. Bringing yourself to this present moment, because that's where we meet the spirits. We meet them in the present moment. We don't meet them in the past. We don't meet them in the future. They're here with us right now. So allowing yourselves to feel a loved one in spirit with you. Perhaps you have a question. Perhaps you weren't able to say goodbye. Perhaps today is an anniversary or an important day, and you're particularly missing someone that you love. Maybe you're doing Ancestry or Ancestry.com. Maybe you are looking at ancestors and you want to know more. Maybe you've been adopted and you'd like to know more about your birth family. Whatever the case may be, feel yourself in your chair, allow yourself to breathe, and invite loved ones in spirit to move in closely. You may feel a tickling around the top of your head. You may feel chills. You may get goosebumps. That's just the presence of loved ones in spirit here with you and guides. And there we are. I was disconnected there for a minute. That's funny. Spirits can interfere, by the way, with electronics, just so you all know. But feel yourself and feel the spirits. Feel that touching in, that hello. Do not be surprised if an answer to a question just appears in your mind. If you're inspired by a way to solve something. Allow there to be space between your thoughts so that the thoughts of the spirits can inform you. Take some time to just listen, allowing thoughts to go by. If there's an annoying sound in the background, let it go. As you begin to listen even more deeply, you may feel like clearing your throat. That's okay. I call that a psychic hairball. That's just your clairaudience, your clear sense of hearing being activated. By the way, there's a Judy in spirit saying hello. There is also a Dorothy or Dottie and a Tom, by the way, and a David. So I just want you to know if these are some of your loved ones, they're just dropping in here to say hello. I'm also seeing a German Shepherd that just ran through here. I'm hearing the name Max or Maxine, or yeah, Max or Maxine. So I just want you to know your loved ones are here, as are your guides. So feeling yourself in your chair, feet on the floor, hands in your lap. Connect with your breathing once again. Bring yourself to the present moment here. Now that is an exercise that you can do on your own. You certainly don't need me to guide you, but feel free, to listen to the posting of this so that, if you want someone to guide you through it, but take your time. We didn't spend a lot of time because this is a live Instagram situation, but you can take as much time as you want and allow your loved ones to show up. You might be surprised by who may come. You may hear a name, a blast from a past. You may smell cigarette smoke from someone that was a grandfather who smoked a pipe. Maybe you'll smell pipe smoke, or a favorite perfume, or another smell of cooking that you associate with someone. So allow those things to come forward. Those are little signatures of spirit to let you know, I am here. So once again, this is Hollister Rand. Thank you so much for being here today. You can visit of course, you can buy the book, From Beyond Words, Everything You Wanted to Know About the Afterlife But Were Afraid to Ask. I'm also doing lots of events. I'm doing book signing events. I'm doing small spirit circles. We're doing gallery style events, lectures, teachings, all sorts of things. And you can find out about all of this at hollisterrand.com. I also have a free email newsletter that you can sign up for. And there are articles. The last month's was all about resilience and how spirits can help us get through this time. So I just want you to know there are lots of resources. I'm a very accessible working medium. So let's not be strangers. I want to thank you so much for sharing this time with me today. The book, once again, is called Everything You Wanted to Know About the Afterlife But Were Afraid to Ask. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.